Episode 6 of Furious starts with a flashback of Catherine going to the shelter home for former sex workers. Catherine speaks to Jean about Elena and asks for her help to escape Big Man and his brothel. Jean recognizes Catherine as Grace and promises to keep her location safe despite the FBI alert about her. Jean tries to talk Catherine through her panic attack when Alice shows up asking about the safe surrender boxes. Alice notices Catherine, who lies about her identity, and tells Jean that she needs a place to stay. Alice fills out the form and tries to make small talk with Catherine, who seems unwell. Jean sends Catherine to a spare room and asks Alice to wait. In the meantime, Alice calls Nora to tell her about Catherine. Nora is shocked but asks her to keep the fact that she is an FBI agent a secret, given it could pose a danger to Alice's life. Nora tells Alice about Hal's murder and asks her to stall while she calls for backup. Alice asks Nora to buy her an hour so she can make small talk with Catherine and convince her to expose Jay Easton. Nora goes to Ed's office to report Catherine's whereabouts, but takes her time getting there because she fears he will take over the case. Alden makes the interrogation difficult for Frank and Danny by refusing to expose Catherine. He claims to have murdered Hal despite his condition and is taken to the FBI office for further interrogation. Meanwhile, Danny learns that Marshall was arrested the previous night for being drunk. At the FBI office, Danny has the tech team search Hal's laptop, but they find nothing. Alden manages to intimidate Frank because of his condition, but Danny refuses to go soft on him. Ed learns about Hal's murder and panics. Someone texts him asking for an update on the case, and he starts frantically looking for Nora. Meanwhile, Marshall, who is tracking Alice's phone location, ends up outside the shelter waiting for her to leave. Alice lies to Catherine and claims that she has been talking in her sleep and mentioning the name Isabel. Catherine is startled and goes outside to get some air. Alice asks to join her, and the two end up at a nearby park talking about their personal lives. Alice uses her experience with Marshall to get Catherine to open up, explaining how Marshall used to pull her out of the shower and beat her until she feared he would kill her. Catherine reassures Alice and tells her that Jean will help her through the crisis, just as she did when Catherine was 16. Jean calls them back inside and asks the women at the shelter to take a shower. Catherine notices Alice's fear and tries to help her. Catherine talks about the first house she had and how free she felt living somewhere she could call her own. She also recalls being unable to keep a job and having to give up her friend's daughter, eventually losing the house in the process. Alice wonders if she means Isabel's daughter, which alarms Catherine. At the same time, a woman at the shelter recognizes Alice and tells Catherine that she is a cop who has been patrolling the area. Catherine is shocked and panics, trying to avoid speaking to Alice any further. At the FBI office, Nora finally tells Ed about Alice's confrontation with Catherine and asks to pursue Jay Easton now that they have evidence against him. Ed refuses and tells Nora to back off. Nora calls him out for repeating what he did years ago, accusing him of conspiring with Jay Easton so he can investigate an organized crime case and secure promotion. Nora also wonders if Ed convinced her to close the Jane Doe case to protect Jay, who is forcing teenage girls to have sex with him and his friends. Nora calls Ed out for bullying and pressuring her for his personal benefit and recalls complying with him when she was a rookie, refusing to give in to his pressure now. At the shelter, Catherine tries to leave, but Alice asks to join her. Alice tries to calm her down, but Catherine runs to the showers. Alice follows with a gun and tells Catherine that the cops have surrounded the building. However, she panics inside the showers. Catherine takes advantage of the situation and injects Alice with a drug, knocking her out. She takes Alice's gun and threatens to shoot her. Marshall is unaware of all this, drinking in his car while waiting for Alice to leave the shelter. At the FBI office, Danny tries to get Alden to speak about Catherine, but he refuses. Alden explains that of all the people he has met, Catherine is the only person who overlooked his condition and wheelchair, loving him for who he is. Danny tells him that Catherine may have murdered Alden's mother to gain access to her drugs, so she could kill more people. Even upon hearing this, though, Alden refuses to expose Catherine. Meanwhile, Nora tries to leave for the shelter and hopes to have Catherine arrested. She is furious when she learns that Ed has removed her from the case. Ed tells Nora to sit the case out and brings up her alcohol dependency, asking her to get help for her addiction. He also calls off the backup team Nora sent to arrest Catherine. At the shelter, Alice tries to reason with Catherine and asks her to seek legal help to find out what happened to Isabel. She offers to help Catherine protect Emily and take her far away from her pimp. Big Man Catherine asks why Alice did not report her ex-boyfriend for assaulting her, and she claims that it's because she knew it would not work in her favor. Catherine refuses Alice's help and says that she has no memory of what happened because of the severity of her trauma. She tries to escape the shelter after realizing that the cops are not coming inside. Alice, still affected by the drugs, tries to follow. Marshall spots Alice and attacks her for having him arrested. She tries to escape, but he tackles her and pins her against his car. Catherine suddenly shows up and shoots Marshall in the side before running away. Alice is shocked and tries to stop Marshall from bleeding out as Ed arrives at the scene. Before leaving, Alden asks Danny to collect the flash drive containing the files from Hal's laptop, which he managed to retrieve before deleting all the data from the device. Danny looks through the flash drive and finds hundreds of videos showing underage girls being abused by Jay Easton. The episode ends with Danny finding a video of young Alice being assaulted by Jay and being left shocked. It is honestly heartbreaking to see Alice and Catherine bond over their respective trauma, and it is jarring how they are both two sides of the same coin. The final moments of this episode had me jaw-dropped because I did not expect Alice to also be one of Jay's victims. I sympathize with Catherine despite her murdering people because she herself is a victim of severe sexual and physical abuse. She was assaulted at the age of 15, and something like that is unimaginable for many children her age. While she is a serial killer and should be punished for her crimes, she is also a victim trying to avenge the horrific murder of her friend and lover. Catherine's shooting Marshall proves that she has injustice sensitivity and that she empathized with Alice after learning about her past abuse. Her reason behind Hal's murder also reflects this, proving that she was upset with him for turning a blind eye to Jay Easton's wrongdoings as he sexually assaulted and tortured hundreds of innocent victims. With Nora being kicked out of the case due to a lack of evidence, Danny has the chance to turn the case around in favor of Nora and Alice.